Welcome to the second in the series of EPRA Testimonials, where we look at leading investors' strategies in listed real estate. I'm joined today by Mia Caroline Holstad, who's the Chief Investment Officer for Real Assets at Norges Bank Investment Management. Mia, thanks very much for inviting us to join you at your offices here in London. It would be good just to start with an introduction of NBIM and also your role here.
So thank you for having me, Richard. So I have been with the fund since 2010, so 14 years now, and I hold the role as Chief Investment Officer of Real Assets. And that means that I'm responsible for listed real estate, private real estate, as well as private investing in renewable energy. So NBIM is responsible for the Government Pension Fund Global, and the fund was established to invest surplus revenues from the Norwegian petroleum sector into international financial markets. So today the fund is among the largest sovereign wealth funds in the world, and our mission is to safeguard wealth for future generations. So we do that by investing in international financial markets through equities, fixed income, real estate and renewable energy.
You mentioned real estate. It would be good to learn a little bit about how listed real estate fits in with your overall real estate allocation.
We say that we are more or less agnostic to how we invest in real estate. And we say that real estate is real estate independent of corporate wrappings. And that's why we run a combined strategy on real estate, looking at listed and private real estate together. So I think that this strategy really makes sense due to the fund's characteristics, being a long-term investor and with no liquidity constraints. I think we can sit through that short to medium-term volatility, which naturally comes with listed real estate. And since we are able to do that, we can include listed real estate in the same way as we do with private real estate, and that makes our real estate universe much larger.
And if we look at allocation, Mia, in terms of the weight between listed and private, is it 50-50? How do you see that?
Actually, today it is 50-50, but it's no set allocation limits. So that all depends on sort of the opportunities and where the liquidity is. So if you look at the portfolios in isolation, like the private and the listed portfolio, it doesn't necessarily make as much sense as when you combine them. So listed real estate actually gives us a better diversification on the overall portfolio level. And we use that to get exposure to different sectors which we don't necessarily get that easy access to on the private side.
And Mia, I suppose what would you say have been some of the key benefits in terms of NBIM's real estate strategy?
Well, I think the major benefit is the improved diversification effect. So if you look back to 2019, we used to have about 60% offices in our combined portfolio, whilst now we have about 30% offices in the mix. Another benefit, which is clearly linked to this one, is the access that we get to subsectors or more niche sectors. So that is much more easy through the listed side, especially when it comes to those more consumer-driven sectors. It's way more efficient to go through the listed side often. And a third benefit is that we use listed real estate on new emerging sectors to get knowledge and get comfortable with these sectors. So that is also clearly a good tool to have in the toolbox. I think also to summarize, if you look at listed real estate and private real estate in the short to medium term, they act very differently. But what we see is if you put on your longer lenses, listed and private real estate really is the same in the long run. So that's why we think that it makes sense to run this combined strategy.
Very interesting to hear, Mia, in terms of the real estate allocation, but also the strategy for listed real estate and some of the benefits that you're seeing there at NBIM. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And look out for the next in the series where we'll be talking with another leading investor.